right? Because nobody can tell me I can't bring my sick kid to work because I own the damn business, right? And she knows that she's going to be taken care of. So, anyway, so that's Wesley behind me. She's my 11-year-old, my budding entrepreneur. Um, and let's see. So, I guess are we going live right now? We are. Hi, LinkedIn. We are live. So welcome. Would love to see your faces. We've got some friends over here on Zoom live with me. But we're also streaming live on LinkedIn because LinkedIn has that fun function. And in case you're trying to remember why in the world you're here or what you signed up for, we're doing a little workshop on the power of your SSI score on LinkedIn. Um, you know, One of the many things I obviously love about LinkedIn, I'm a huge fan of the platform. It helped me scale my business to 1 million in revenue without spending a dime on ads, right? It's a very powerful tool. And one of the reasons it's a powerful tool and why I love it for the business owner is you don't need tens of thousands of followers to be successful. And this SSI score that we're going to talk about today is a really great example of why you don't need tens of thousands of followers. And hang on one second, I've got to clear my. Okay. You just need the right connections and you need to behave in a way that brings value and authenticity to your ideal audience. Okay. Who could take a deep breath and be relieved that it's not a platform of tens of thousands to win the game. As a matter of fact, I will tell you anecdotally, um, I was at a big event last week and someone there actually runs a LinkedIn agency. And they were saying, oh my gosh, we've grown our clients account up to 40,000 people in their network, and they're still not happy. They're complaining that they're not getting the leads that they want. And let me turn this heater off. And I was like, well, that's really interesting because you don't need 34,000 followers to be successful on LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, unless you're being really targeted about those 34,000, their ideal audience isn't seeing anything that they're putting out, which is why they're not getting any success. Do you know what their SSI score is? Right. And they kind of looked at me like deer in headlights. And I was like, it is not a numbers game. Like, you don't need tens of thousands of followers on LinkedIn. You need an optimized SSI score, because an optimized SSI score means that LinkedIn is favorably putting your content in front of your ideal audience, right? Because you're behaving and acting in a values-based way, connecting with people who find value in what you do, and being in conversations with people who are authentic. This is why I love this platform. We have tons of clients who come through and grow a network of no less than 1,000 people and make multiple six-figure businesses out of it, right? And you do, and so I just want to preface before I go into this workshop that I hope that through reviewing with you the SSI score, it really comes to vision for you that you don't have to have tens of thousands of followers. Now, if you go to my account today, you're going to be like, well, Melissa, you have 20,000 followers. Well, I have been a LinkedIn expert in this field for like 7 years now, right? So, and I run master classes that started with 30 people in them, and now thousands of you come to the workshops, and one of the first things you do is you come connect with me, which is awesome. But some of you aren't my ideal audience. That's just a fact. Just like those of you who are playing on the platform, there's going to be people who connect with you who aren't your ideal audience. And believe it or not, on a monthly basis, we actually clean my network out. So I also just want to give you another sigh of relief. This is not about how many followers can I get on LinkedIn. Hear it from the LinkedIn guru. Every single month, we're cutting people out of my network because they're not the right audience and they're not who we're targeting, and it impacts your SSI score. I would rather have less people in my network that are highly engaged, that drive my SSI score up, that then gives me visibility to everyone that's important in my business, right? So I go back to this person who grew an audience of 34,000 for their ideal client. Oh my gosh, we're getting Zoom bombed by some disgusting people. Can somebody delete this guy out? My God, nightmare. Okay. We're going to report this guy. Let me just hit submit. I don't even know how. Do you have everybody on silent while I'm presenting? Okay. But I thought Zoom bombs were over during COVID. Okay, so I apologize. That was some horrible human jumping onto my feed. Let me let Christian in. This is what I get for doing things for free and letting people just come in, right? Okay, so back to the topic at hand. This is what you don't want on LinkedIn, right? Like it's not about sheer number. And so we're constantly deleting people out of my network to actually optimize my SSI score. And what I love about LinkedIn, unlike Facebook and Instagram, is that literally on an any day basis, we're going to give you guys the link where you can go get your SSI score on any given day. LinkedIn doesn't make it guesswork. You know exactly where you stand with LinkedIn. LinkedIn tells you, here's where you're scoring against people in your industry, and here's what you can do to improve it. Like I love this about LinkedIn versus any of you playing over on Instagram and you're like, God, why do like some things people engage with and some things people don't? And you have no idea, even when you look at the analytics from Instagram, because everything changes so much, right? So this is what I love about LinkedIn. So let's just jump into it. What I'm going to do is I am going to share with you our SSI score little PDF, if I can get to it. Here we go. Give me just a minute. Here we go. Can you guys see that? And then I am going to just slide it up a little bit. Okay. Now, if you don't have this SSI scorecard worksheet or a downloadable PDF, Carrie can drop it in the chat. We can drop the link so you can grab it in the chat. If you're streaming over on LinkedIn, I bet Carrie can drop it in the link over there as well. Okay. So you're going to want to download this for reference because I talk kind of fast. But first of all, I'll just say, like I said before, unlike the other social media platforms, LinkedIn is telling you exactly how you're performing, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. It's called the social selling index. Now, what I also love is that LinkedIn has created this for people who want to monetize and sell on LinkedIn. How many of you originally thought LinkedIn is just for corporate networking and finding jobs, right? Why would LinkedIn create an SSI score for a selling index if it was solely focused on it being a network platform just for corporate America, right? So how many of you are small business owners and you're like, okay, I'm here to learn a little bit about LinkedIn. I'm not sure whether, it's for me or not. Well, I'm here to tell you LinkedIn knows it's for you and they're going to give you guidance on how you can optimize for visibility, right? So they're giving you real-time feedback on your social selling efforts. What is social selling? Social selling is simply leveraging the internet and a social media platform like LinkedIn to sell. Right? To sell. That is social selling. If you are leveraging the internet on a social media platform to sell, you are socially selling. You are leveraging a free social media platform to sell. Make sense? Okay. So they define social selling as a strategic method for sellers to connect and build relationships with prospects through social networks. Now, this is what I love and I want to underscore. What I want to say is that they call it a social selling index, but they're not scoring your ability to sell, right? They're actually scoring your ability to do what? Connect, build relationships through social networks. They're actually looking for how much value is this human putting out? And are other people who are their prospective audience actually engaging? Is there reciprocity going on in their feed? Because if there is, they're creating value in the right platform and with the right audience, right? What LinkedIn wants, like, let's be honest, LinkedIn is a business, right? They want to make money, right? Let's just keep it real. The way they make money is to keep people on the platform. The way they keep people on the platform is keeping the most relevant content that keeps people engaged at the top of the feed. That's how they make money the longer you're on the platform. How do they do that? Strategically aligning ideal prospective network with desired content. right? So if you're strategically growing a network that is your ideal audience that finds value in what you put out and is engaging with what you put out, guess what? The end user is doing what? Staying on the platform longer. So what are you doing for, let's be honest, what are we doing for LinkedIn? We're making them look good. We're keeping the users on the platform longer, right? They're scoring you on your ability to engage and keep people on the platform. Does this make sense? It's a business, right? But what I love is that they're making it very obvious for us whether we're performing well or not. Okay. So what are the benefits of a high SSI score? Well, a couple of things. We all want to shoot for an SSI score above 70. This is the link. I don't know if, Carrie, you can drop the link in the chat where you go grab your SSI score so you guys can go look at it. Let us know in the chat what your SSI score is. So let me pull the chat up here. Let us know in the chat what your SSI score is. You want to be shooting for an SSI score above 70. Inside of our Lead Gen Academy, this is what we're focused on with all of our clients. It's not a sheer number of your network. It's how do we get your SSI score up? Because that's where the visibility and the connections and the sales happen, right? Because when you have a score above 70, you get increased visibility on LinkedIn because they favor your content, right? You get more inbound connection requests, right? So you get more options to send requests, right? And to receive them. And you get higher engagement rates on your content, right? Which keeps your content up at the top. And you get improved lead quality and quantity. Why is that? Because you've helped LinkedIn laser in on who your ideal audience is, because your feed is pretty active because people are engaging and you're putting out content there. That law of reciprocity of engagement for what you're putting out showcases to them that there's quality, right? And so they're going to give you more of the like people who are engaging with that content, right? So, and you get enhanced personal brand recognition and the ability to send for more connection requests. So you get the opportunity for more inbound requests and the opportunity for more outbound requests, right? So basically, we all want to go for 70 or above, okay? Now, if you're below 70, it's okay, right? Everybody starts somewhere and we work our way up. Now, as a matter of fact, we have an upcoming workshop for 5 days straight with some bonus sessions afterwards, where we're going to be working with you on driving up your SSI score. So you may want to, Carrie, you can actually drop in the chat the link to our workshop too. We have a totally free masterclass. Once we get done with this workshop today, if you're like, man, I need to learn more about this, come take our free workshop and we can help you move the needle. Okay. All right. So you've got the link on where to find your score. So you've got the link on where to find your score. You guys have shared with us your score. Now, here's the 4 categories for your SSI score. Okay, here's your 4 components. The first component is establishing your professional brand. Okay, we're going to just don't worry. In a couple minutes, we're going to talk about how you can enhance all 4 of these. Okay. But number 1, you want to be able to establish your professional brand, right? Number 2, you want to find the right people. Okay. You want to find the right people. Number 3, you want to engage with insights. Okay. You want to engage with insights. Number 4, you want to build relationships. Okay. Now they rank you in 2 categories. Let us know where you're ranked. They rank you in 2 categories, your industry SSI rank and your network SSI rank. Okay. So what is your industry SSI rank? Your industry SSI rank shows your rank among your peers in your chosen industry. So whatever industry you're selecting yourself in, LinkedIn is now going to compare you amongst your peers in that space, right? Okay. And then your other SSI rank is your network SSI rank or your other SSI rank is your network, right? So number 1 is amongst peers. Number 2 is amongst the network that you have, right? So amongst your first, second, and third degree networks, how are you ranking? Okay. So in your industry and amongst your network, you're going to be compared in these 4 categories. Is this making sense? Yep. Okay. All right. Now who would like to know how you can improve your SSI score in these 4 categories? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Who knows, based off the 4 components, which components you need to work on the most? Who's checked it out? Let us know in the chat. Who knows which components you need to work on the most? Like, I'm not surprised that my SSI score, where I'm the lowest, ends up being find the right people, because I I launched and scaled my business exclusively using LinkedIn. I didn't spend a dime on ads for the first, 18, 19 months, but now we're a multi-million dollar a year company and we're diversified. So we do lead generation across LinkedIn, we do it across Instagram, we do it across Facebook. And so what happens is, like I said in the beginning, I have to go back and clean out my network every month because I'm pulling in too many of the wrong people. So when I look at my SSI score, this helps drive the income producing activity in my company on a monthly basis with my LinkedIn account. Where do we need to spend the most time? Cleaning out the wrong people. That's where I score the lowest, right? Does this make sense? So you guys can do the same thing. Okay. All right. Now let's break it down. So component number 1, establishing your professional brand. Okay. So some keys to establishing your professional brand is to optimize every section of your LinkedIn profile. Okay. This is from your eye-catching banner to your professional headshot to a compelling headline that really creates curiosity, all the way to a story driven about section. It's not enough to have a resume style, really boring, text heavy, chronological order about section anymore. It does not fly in this day and age. Even on LinkedIn, the attention span of an adult is about 2 to 3 seconds, even if you're a corporate recruiter, right? So you need to be able to capture attention. And again, this is just a plug for our upcoming workshop where we're going to spend a lot of time and we're going to actually publish with you, go live with you, your new rewritten profiles, right? So come join us in our masterclass. We'll show you how to perfect this because it's something we do really, really well, right? So those are just a couple of things around your professional brand and your personal brand, right? We're making sure that your profile really speaks the part of the business that you want to represent, okay? Now, the second category was number 2, find the right people, right? Find the right people. If you have the wrong people in your network, they're not going to engage in your content. So I bring you back to the top of the hour when we kicked off, or the half hour, I guess, with a friend of mine who said, we have 35,000 people in this person's network. I don't understand. Well, if they're half wrong people and they're just warm bodies, then the content's not getting to the right people, right? And so even though there's a lot of people, your content's being pushed to the bottom of the feed because the algorithms are kind of confused about who your audience even is, and no one's engaging with your content, right? You'd rather keep a tight network that approves of and engages with your content and slowly build the right audience to get mass visibility, right? So you want to make sure you're also using powerful search and filter tools. Who's heard of the Boolean search modifiers? Who's heard of the Boolean search modifiers? Okay, yes, Carol has. Sandy says no. So the Boolean search modifiers, you use the word and it's going to narrow your search. So let's say you want sales and the key term manager, right? So you want to work with not just managers, but sales managers. You get sales and manager, right? If you want to broaden your search, then you use the word or, right? Because maybe you want sales or marketing, right? Either will work. Okay. So these are Boolean modifiers that you can use in the search function, right? And then you can exclude with key terms like not, right? And that helps exclude what you don't want. So programmer, not junior, right? Programmer, not junior. So these are just some modified searches that you can do, and you can save your searches, right? So I've got a little bit of instructions here on how you can save searches, right? You perform the search in the search bar, and then on the results page, click create search alert, right? And put at the bottom near the right, okay, the top right, at the button near the top right, sorry. And then you can actually choose how often you want these alerts. right? So these are ways that you can save your searches and you can go back. Now, again, there's a lot of other really great ways to grow your network. And I'm going to go into the weeds and spend an entire day on this inside of our masterclass. But I think that this is a really great place for you to get started, is in that search function, growing the right network, right? And again, clean it out, go through your network and who's actually hindering your content. So I'll give you an example. I had a client. I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore, but I used to. And when she came in, she had paid an agency, outsourced across seas to grow her network for her. And she was like, I don't understand. No one's engaging with my content. Well, her ideal audience was middle-aged women. Okay. We went into her network and over 60% of it were men. And so the agency who was growing her network was touting, hey, we've added X number of people to your network this week, right? They were just sheer numbers, right? And I'm like, well, when you're posting content about hormone issues, or, menopausal symptoms, obviously 60% of your audience doesn't care and they're not engaging and they're the wrong audience. Right. So this is just, again, a great example of the right network is important. Okay. Now engage with insights. Okay. So become a thought leader in your industry. So one of the things that LinkedIn loves to see is content that is shared. Okay. It is the largest compliment to any content that you can write, because someone has to be truly compelled to read your content and not only comment or like it, but actually share it with their own network, right? This is the highest value possible, right? So, accept the challenge. Can you create a piece of content that's so high value that people want to share it? We do this on a weekly basis. And when our content is shared, think about it. LinkedIn is seeing you as a thought leader because people are grabbing the content you're writing and wanting to share it as expertise and value to others, right? Now, a way that you can enhance the probability of this is you can actually create a CTA and ask people to share, right? Or one of the ways we drive our shares is in our upcoming masterclass that we'll be running. We will absolutely ask people who are on live on LinkedIn, like call to action right now. Let's try it out. Those of you that are on live on LinkedIn with me right now, and you're finding a lot of value in this and you're watching me stream live, I would love it. It would be the largest compliment ever if you actually share this live stream in your feed, right? So if you're running a workshop, don't be afraid, or you're going live on LinkedIn, don't be afraid to ask people to share if you're finding value, right? A CTA is a call to action, right? It's a call to action. Okay. The other thing is writing and publishing articles. They have like the highest share rate, right? Because they're written in a way that people want to share, right? Use different types of content, because you may choose video, may be what stops your scroll, right? How many of you guys like video, right? Versus some of you like to read short form written work. Some of you like a good long form article, right? Some of you like the carousels that you swipe. Some of you like to give your opinion. Like, there's a lot of ego on LinkedIn, right? So don't be afraid to put a poll out there and ask people's opinion and ask for them to share their thoughts in the comment section, right? So there's a lot of ways to get people to actually engage and be seen as a thought leader on the platform. The other way to be seen as a thought leader is to thoughtfully comment on others' posts. So actually on a daily basis, we go in and comment on our ideal clients' content, right? We comment on thought leaders in my industry's content. And this is very strategic to feed the algorithm and train it that, yes, this is my ideal client. Yes, I engage with a lot of my clients in the academy. Very purposefully, we want to support them and engage with them. And then they're engaging back. And the algorithms are like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, this is a whole feedback loop between these two different profiles and the dynamics of these profiles, right? Okay, so that makes sense. Um, Now, the SSI score number 4 is building relationships. Okay. So engaging with your connections content. So I kind of just hit on that a second ago, but are you thoughtfully engaging and connecting? What I see a lot of on LinkedIn is a lot of give, or a lot of, I should say take, even though it is give. So what I mean by that is, I see a lot of folks just post content and ghost, like they post and then they're out, which you would think on the surface is giving, but it's really taking. You're just trying to be seen and you're not actually giving and engaging on the platform, right? So, one of the things that really helped drive our SSI score back up, as you can imagine, where I am today versus my beginning with LinkedIn, I went from a one-woman show growing $1 million a year business leveraging LinkedIn to where I am today with a team and staff and I'm a CEO with a lot of people on my team. It becomes very difficult for me to keep up with my own DMs all day, every day. And what I found, although for me, it was a real hard decision, given that my expertise is LinkedIn and I coach on LinkedIn, it was very hard for me to give up 100% owning it because I'm like, I teach this. I can't delegate it out because then I feel like I'm not in transparency of what I teach, right? But the reality is I've gotten to a place where I'm like, don't compare my middle to your beginning. Let my middle be your inspiration to my beginning, right? Because like I said, it was 2 years ago before I even was willing to delegate any piece of the work I do on LinkedIn. But now what I will tell you, and this kind of brings it full circle, is I'm still in there chatting with a lot of you guys on LinkedIn. I'm still in the DMs, but I do have a team that helps me keep my conversations moving along. Because what happened was my business took off and I was managing a team, I was managing clients, and this will happen to all of you if it hasn't already. All of a sudden, the business takes off, and you're so focused on the business that you forget about your pipeline, right? And then you lift your head up and you don't have a pipeline anymore because you haven't nurtured it, right? So I had to get to a point in my business where I was like, okay, I've got to train someone up to get into my brain and let's work together on how we're keeping the conversations going in the DMs, right? So I'm just being fully transparent with you guys. I'm in there a lot, but I also have a team that's helping me. Why? Because I found my SSI score starting to teeter off because I wasn't engaging in the DMs because I didn't have the time. Right. So it's a matter of knowing your own capacity. And so what happened is getting back into a re-engagement campaign and truly clearing out my inbox every single day has driven my SSI score back up, right? So being in the DMs every day, clearing out the wrong networks has made a huge impact where my impressions on my posts have grown 400 to 500% from where they were even just a couple of months ago. Right. So I'm sharing this in real time with you because I don't know where you are on your journey to LinkedIn. I don't know if you're brand new and just started an account or if you've got a larger account like me. But my point is we're still constantly learning. We're still constantly tweaking and we're bringing it to you, right? At every level, wherever you are. Okay. Okay. So engaging, getting into the DMs, and participating in relevant events and also hosting your own events. Like I'm very strategic running a totally live workshop on LinkedIn right now about LinkedIn. Why? Because I'm a LinkedIn expert and I want to be seen as an authority in that space. And I'm hosting it for you because I'm hoping that those of you who find value in that and you're in my feed are attending right now and you're engaging because it's driving value for you and value for my account, right? Does this make sense? Okay, so this is the power of your SSI score, right? I gave you a couple of different nuggets of what you can do to be successful in moving the needle on your SSI score. And I hope that you guys really take action on what I've taught today. But again, I'd love to encourage you, if you found value in this, come join us for our 5-day intensive. We've got a totally free masterclass coming up. If you've anybody attended my masterclasses before. If you've attended before, we have revamped them with your feedback. If you haven't attended this past January was the first masterclass where we really shook things up, and we're doing it a little bit different. We're making it project-based, where every single day you're going live and publishing something with us. And our whole goal is to get your baseline metrics and your SSI score on day one, and actually have an action-oriented publish of something live that we're working on that are the 5 critical factors to move your metrics in a way that's going to create more visibility and more lead generation in your business. That's what we're going to be doing in my upcoming masterclass. 5 days straight from noon to 1 Eastern, actually 1:15. And then we'll be running bonus sessions through the weekend. We've never done this until this year. We got a lot of requests. Any of you still work full-time or part-time? And you're like, I am straddling my 9 to 5, but I also see the power of LinkedIn. How do I use it without losing my job? I had to do that myself. I was in a Fortune 500 and I leveraged the power of LinkedIn around my 9 to 5 in the midst of a massive layoff at my company. Had they known what I was doing, I would have been fired for sure, right? And I'm sharing this with you because some of you are maybe operating in a place of fear right now in your corporate jobs, even though you see the power of LinkedIn. So I'm going to do a little bonus session on Saturday to talk you through how I leveraged LinkedIn incognito and still scaled to multiple 6 figures in my first business that got me out of corporate before I could then go public and go bananas on the platform, right? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to do a bonus session on business pages versus personal pages because we get a lot of questions on that as well. So with that, we hope to see you all in our upcoming masterclass around the corner. I hope you found value in this, and I hope that you take some action to move your SSI score even between today and the masterclass with what you know, to really drive that number up so that you can get more visible. It's not about the sheer number of your network. It's about the quality of your network. All right. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and we hope we see you in the masterclass. All right. Bye-bye.